Greetings, children. Today, we're talking about division. Now, we're actually just talking about the simple division when we're dividing by a monomial. So we're dividing polynomials by a monomial. So let's look at an example. Let's say we had 12 x squared plus 8x plus 6 divided by 2. Now, you can see that each of these terms, 12, x squared, 8x, and 6, is divisible by 2. So that makes it pretty straightforward. The steps that we're going to take to do this are we're going to take each term that's in the polynomial on top, and we're going to divide it by the term that's on the bottom. So we'll have 12x squared divided by 2, and we're just going to make it a fraction, plus 8x divided by 2, plus 6 divided by 2. And then we're going to work out what each of those becomes. We have 12 divided by 2 is 6x squared, 8 divided by 2 is 4x, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So our answer is 6x squared plus 4x plus 3. So that was a pretty straightforward example. We took a polynomial, divided it by a monomial, and in this case the monomial was just a number. Let's talk about dividing monomials for just a moment. Let's say we had something a lot more complicated. Let's say we had 51 x to the 4th, y squared, z to the 7th, and we're dividing by 3x, y, z squared. Now, when you're dividing this is both just monomials. There's only one term at the top. There's no plus or minus signs. So when you're dividing this, you just divide each part, and you're basically canceling the things that can cancel. So you look at this as just a fraction, and you cancel stuff. So if there's a factor on the top that's the same as a factor on the bottom, you just cross it out. So here, for example, we have 51 and 3. Both are divisible by 3. We get 17. And this, since 3 divided by 3 is 1, we just get 1. Here, there's a factor of x. Here, there's 4 factors of x. So we cross that out, and now we have 3 factors of x, so x cubed. This 1 factor of y, now there's 1 of those left, so we just write y. 2 factors of z cancel with 2 of those, and you're left with z to the 5th. When these cancel, they all became 1 because they canceled completely, so we ended up with 17 x cubed y z to the 5th over 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is just 1. So that means this equals 17 x cubed y z to the 5th. So what we're going to see is things like this that are a little bit more complicated when we do our division. So let's try one. Let's say we had 24 x cubed plus 18 x y. Let's do x squared y. And then minus 12 xy squared. And we're dividing that by 3x squared. So to do the division, we're going to work it out the same way. We're going to take each term that's on the top and divide it by the bottom. So 24 x cubed divided by 3x squared plus 18 x squared y over 3x squared minus 12 xy squared over 3x squared. So here, this cancels, you get 8. This cancels, you get x. So we have 8x for the first one. The next one, this cancels, you get 6. The x squareds cancel completely, so they're gone. And then we still have this y here, so we get 6y. Over here, 3 goes into 12 4 times. We still have the y squared there, and then this x cancels with one of these x's. So that means we are left with a fraction. We have 4y squared over x. Because there was one x here, but 2 factors of x on the bottom. So there's our answer. We have 8x plus 6y minus 4y squared over x. So you can see it's a little bit more complicated, but the same principles apply. You're just taking the polynomial on the top, dividing it by each piece on the bottom, and then working each of those out. Let's take a look at one more example. Let's say we had, well, I'll let you pick the numbers. Okay, go ahead. All right, so 3x squared minus 5xy, and then plus 7x cubed y. Okay, so we're dividing by 2x. So we take each part, 3x squared divided by 2x, minus 5xy divided by 2x, plus 7x cubed y divided by 2x. So here, notice the numbers don't cancel. The letters do. So we get 3 over 2. We're just going to write it as a fraction, times x. Same thing here. The numbers don't actually cancel. We get 5 over 2. It's a fraction. X's cancel. You're left with y. This x is actually on the top of the fraction, and so is the y. But we can write the numbers separate and just write x and y as well. And then this last one, plus 7 over 2. X's cancel. We're left with x squared. So we get x squared y. So our answer here when we divide is 3 over 2 times x minus 5 over 2 times y plus 7 over 2 times x squared y. So you're going to be practicing this in your homework. We're dividing a polynomial by a monomial. You take each piece of the polynomial, make it a fraction over the monomial, and then simplify each fraction. So each monomial over monomial gets simplified. And that's all there is to it. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.